The Dragonlord mini set. Is this a set that will elevate sorcery to the greatest card game ever? Or is this the card set that will kill the game for a lot of the players? I want to talk about that. My cat already knows he's about to get brushed. We're going to react to another Collector Arthouse video. One of my favorite content creators here on YouTube on sorcery. So he's got a website and Discord by the same name. Let's hear what Collector Arthouse has to say. Let's pull his stuff up and let's go.
Well, here it is, guys. Here we are back in the van. I got a very aggressive haircut tonight. You see that? They took all of me. They scalped me a little bit.
First of all, I think that may have been the most genius pun of all time. Scalp me? Dude, I think he's talking about scalping. I mean, even today, Pokemon sold out day of release like the last have again and again and again. But I think that may have been a sorcery pun with the 2 eBay sets of Dragonlord, which hasn't released officially, being sold on eBay for over $400 each. But let's keep getting into Dragonlord here. I couldn't tell if he did that on purpose. It's gotta be, right?
Incredible, amazing Dragonlord mini set. 2 possibilities. 1, this was strategically engineered and designed by Eric Curiosa to give you the hook. Or, given what happened with Arthurian Legends and the issues with distribution and whatnot, there was a loss of confidence from distribution, and essentially distribution rejected the product, right?
So, I think this is twofold. So, I agree with the fact that I think this was a little bit manufactured and planned by Eric Curiosa, and I also think that, Team Covenant underestimated how many people would want this. It's so stupid, though. I'm basing this off of their live reaction. They seemed to be surprised. They were like, wait a second, is this selling out now? And it seemed to be genuine. But that's just my take. I think it's a mix of a little bit of both and a failure on Team Covenant's part, for sure.
Estimated the product at best, rejected it at worst. Arthurian Legends. Distribution buys it, and then they're left with the product, right? So here we are now, Dragonlord mini sets coming up. Oh, Dragonlord mini set. All the tubers are like, oh, 13 cards. I don't know. How's that going to make a dent in the meta, the players, the competitive players, 13 cards.
So, I think a little bit about the 13 cards was more than just the meta or the size of the set alone. I think it's the value of the cards. We're talking a lot about Ed Beard Jr.'s cards, but you forget all of sorcery was based on beautiful art. Are we saying that all the other artists were not as good as Ed here? Because in the set he's releasing, it's $4.20 per card. Or if you look at Arthurian Legends, it's 36 cents per card you get in each box. It is, that's more than a tenfold increase, right? So I think that's the concern of the $60 product with 14 cards, only 13 of which are unique.
We just got a 220 card set, we're kind of getting bored with it, right? We're satiated with it. What is 13 cards going to do? Unimaginable. What they didn't account for is twofold. 1, a big rule change, making a massive rule change, actually, making the whole dynamic much different. Now your Dragonlord can fly. It's airborne. It can fly through the realm, right?
So I will say, I think that Collector Arthouse, he is in general a glass half full kind of guy. If you watch a lot of his content, he's always very positive. He was showing off a card done in a short the other day of a little, I think it was a mouse? A little mouse that was drawn as Death Speaker. Someone was a little, upset that they felt like it didn't really represent Death Speaker. That's what I gathered, at least from the comment. And Collector Arthouse is genuinely just kind of like, I like this card, and I believe him. So he's always seeing things in this kind of glass half full. But I really think that a rule change and a exclusive product, it's $60, so it's exclusive to people willing to shell out expensive, large amounts of cash, I guess, for cards. And it's also going to be difficult to get, so it's kind of like, is the gameplay and the mechanic only exclusive? Like, are we only meant to have those select few, and we don't care how the game plays for the rest? Or are we going to print this later and screw over the people that paid the premium? And now we find out, well, this is reprinted, or the mechanics are reprinted. You know what I mean? There's a lose-lose, in my opinion, but that's because I'm generally try to be like a glass 50% full, neither, pessimistic or optimistic. But if I had to be on a side, Arthouse is definitely the pessimist or the optimist, and I am definitely the pessimist in this situation here. Let's keep going. I did edit this down. I've tried to make it as genuine as Collector Arthouse's points as possible.
Unbelievable. And then many other changes that really shook things up, really shaking things up. And then the other factor, Ed Bear Jr., right? What the distribution and even what the sorcery community, the TCG community, did not account for is the reception to the artwork, the great and the name, the brand equity in the name Ed Bear Jr., right? So he was legendary, literally, from Legends MTG with his Elder Dragons, right? So people remember him from back then, the old school Magic players, like, wow. And guess what sells, guys? Dragons and wizards, And maybe what
He's gonna say women. I agree. Babes and dragons and cats, they're all high selling points for everybody. But I disagree. I don't think Ed Beard Jr. is the powerhouse behind the demand for sorcery cards. I really think that it's player driven. People that have these cards and have loved them, part of the community. And I think that's evident by the fact that Ed's Patreon has jumped up to about 200. And most of the people in it were talking about the Dragonlord set. I don't particularly think that the people that were into Ed's art are suddenly into a trading card game. But that's just me, I definitely think Ed brings a ton of value to the cards in the Dragonlord set. I mean, hell, he brings all of it, I guess, if you realize he made them. So let's keep listening to this.
until in TCGs. They like the dragons, the wizards, and the women. But it's a dragon set, right? It's going to be popular. People are going to want it. It's Ed Bear Jr. It's a whole new addressable market that's coming into sorcery. So you know how, and some people are like talking trash, like, oh, Ed Bear Jr., like, or like sorcery, Eric's Curiosa. They underprinted this. They're just gaming the system, right? They're just trying to. It's a gimmick. They're just massively short printing it, and they're trying to goose demand, yada yada yada. Well, you know what debunks that? The fact that Team Covenant had a pre-order sale
We're
that
going to
was
talk about
wholly
this.
unannounced. I think they said like, "Hey, we're gonna release Dragonlord mini sets sometime this week." They do it in the freaking middle of the workday, right? I was in meetings all day. I get out of work. I got a million DMs. Everyone's like, "Mike, it's up. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it." Right? So I got all these messages. I was in meetings. By the time I got out, a few hours later, already sold out. I didn't even know it was for sale. It was genuine demand. Or maybe it's this.
So let's talk about this fallacy a little bit. So a fallacy is when you're using reasoning to prove something is wrong, right? In this case, if we switch around what Collector Arthouse said and realize he's just doing a video in his favorite van, I think he's really talking off the cuff. So I don't know that he's written this down and thought every single thing he said through. He's just speaking from the heart. So, hold nothing against Collector Arthouse here. But if we switch around what he said, it's because Team Covenant released during the workday with low availability and sold out, then we know Eric Curiosa isn't shorting this on purpose. That's a fallacy. That is not good reasoning. So, I will have more thoughts on all of Team Covenant and everything else. Let's keep hearing
rejected
this guy.
product, underestimated product theory that I most believe in, because the Team Covenant sale proves that. It proves it, right? No one knew about it, and it sold out in 2.5 hours. They didn't even know it was going for sale. It was in the middle of the workday. Terrible timing for a pre-release. Clearly, Team Covenant thought that it was going to last, for at least days or weeks or months, maybe at least till Gen Con, a few weeks after their pre-sale. But no, few hours. What does Eric's Curiosa do? They said, we're going to keep a bunch of this product for ourselves, right? There was
So, Team Covenant is gotta be the worst of the worst because they failed to get me my product. I'm gonna do a little more on that in a bit, but I'm not feeling good about Team Covenant right now.
distribution doesn't want it, but we got to make sure,
And
maybe distribution,
I've bought every single product aside from Alpha because it wasn't sold. I've bought every product that Team Covenant sells for sorcery.
we think the demand's going to be higher than distribution is willing to take on. So what we will do, Eris Curiosa, is we will take on more product ourselves. And like they said in the announcement with their tournament scene and everything, we're going to bring it to shows. So now we have leverage, right? We're going to give some to Team Covenant. We're going to let distribution distribute what they think they can distribute. And then we're going to hedge. We're going to keep some for ourselves. And now, if there is a lot of demand, we win, right? And we're going to prioritize getting it to the players. How are we going to get it to the players? A lot of the players are upset. They're like, I can't even get this product. They're
So I completely disagree with this. I'm going to let him talk, and then we'll talk
catering to
about it.
you, player, right? To you, player. Team Covenant sells a lot of product to players. They're like a player-first company, right? They have this like friendly pricing model where they sell at MSRP and they do a lot of like gameplay coverage and they support all these indies, right? That's a player company. Players come to events. Who's
Hold on. Team Covenant, they also sell above market price when the market drops. But let's read Team Covenant's on their website. I might pop it up here when I edit this video. This is their whole motto. This is their business. New releases automatically. Okay? Since 2011, Team or Covenant subscriptions have been the easiest way to keep up with your favorite games. Ditch the status quo of constant pre-orders, allocation, and confusion, and spend that time enjoying the hobby instead. Except, where was I left when I put my faith in Team Covenant? Well, I got left without my product. I guess, constantly worried about pre-ordering and who was allocated this product, and I'm confused. How do I get this with Ed Beer Jr.? It's all muddled and strange. Dude, I'm done with Team Covenant. I will never shop there again. At least that's how I feel right now. So,
who's going to go to SCG conventions? Players to compete in a tournament. Who's going to come to Gen Con? Players. Where's the Dragonlord going to release? At the player tournament, right? At Gen Con. So, ding, 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 ding. Checks all the boxes. They're catering to the players.
So I also disagree with this wholeheartedly. So who's coming to conventions? The players. It's tourists and consumers. That is who are at these conventions. I mean, if we're talking about Gen Con, I was there. I know what it's like. I mean, look, dude. I got my little mug here, Wild Bills. So you buy $100 mug and you get soda for the week. You get to refill. I don't recommend against it. But it's a consumer-based thing. People are there to buy, go on vacation, shop. People are not there to play highly competitive only. You know what I mean? There are, I'm sure, other conventions, but when I was there, the player base was small. It was their first event to give Sorcery a break on this, but I don't think that this is exclusively the players of Sorcery are all flooding to this event in Indianapolis. The players are at their kitchen table. Again, what this whole game was pitched as, what is the heart and soul, or was, of Sorcery. Or maybe a local game store. What a crazy idea that is.
But they win anyway, right?
All right, I'm ready to
whether
pet you again.
they short printed intentionally or whether distribution rejected the product, they win with the players and the collector. It's hard for the collectors to get. Some people are going to be agitated and upset. It's seemingly hard for the players to get, yet it's available through every player venue. So their most passionate player base, who really wants and needs this product, they're the types of people going out to events, right? They're going to get it at events. Now, the one wrinkle in that, the one shortcoming and unfortunate.
Yeah, see, again, I think the players are at their kitchen table. They've got the box like I do on that shelf of cards that have been taken out and played, and loved. And the local game stores have the players that love the card games. And I really think, historically, anything could change, but historically, I think those people at those card shops and those communities have what kept games alive. And we may see here a resolution to all this scalping and demand problems across the board, Pokemon, Magic, and what we may see are some of the players that had been there and had loved it have now turned away. And for Sorcery, that was something we were trying to grow. You don't want to put your game in a situation where you're relying on the investor bubble because it will eventually pop. And it's who's there at that moment that will make or break your game. And so if we're strictly who's at these events, and it's not who's at their kitchen table playing the game, it's not who's at the local game store, then this isn't Eric Curiosa finding a way to get products into the players' hands. This is marketing and strategy, and I think it's really poorly done and in really bad taste. We've seen it in Secret Lair. We've seen it in Magic new IPs, overshadowing the rich lore of the game, Magic the Gathering. we can only hope that they learn from this and commit to do better and follow through with it, unlike a lot of what we've seen from Sorcery so far.
Thing. And I guess this is probably like a distribution problem,
Yeah.
and really not the fault of Eric Curiosa. Aside from maybe they could have done more to kind of handle some of the prior sets a little differently, or done more to kind of encourage store adoption and whatnot. Right. The unfortunate thing is, since distribution seems like it's not going to get a lot, that means all these smaller LGSs are going to have a hard time getting a product. It's hard to grow that local community scene and feed the more casual player, right? So it's almost like the more competitive player, or the people that have the
You're a
time and the
star here,
family
buddy. You gotta
dynamics
stay.
where they can go travel to these events and stuff, they get rewarded and taken care of. I think the players are going to get it in the end, and it's going to be okay, and positions things very well for Gothic. It's creating
I don't know, man. Honestly, if the product right now, if it's in the hands of the players that put all this effort and money into buying this premium product, and now you reprint it or you make it more available, or it was more available all along, this was just marketing, it's going to leave a bad taste in the people that love this the most and were most excited to get it. And if you don't do that, the people that didn't get it are missing out and are going to have a bad taste in their mouth. I think this is a marketing failure. That's just an opinion. I have a small YouTube channel and cards on Etsy, one of which has sold. The other I put in my own collection. So I'm not some big success in business. I'm not trying to act like that, but I think I have some vision to see a lot of the sentiment that may be inverse to how positive Collector Arthouse is genuinely.
a lot of buzz, and it's kind of reviving the game, to be honest. It's the set that the
Go
set
for
that
it.
saved Sorcery. I don't know about saved, but it's the set that's taken it to the next level. So congratulations to Eric Curiosa. Congratulations to Ed Bear Jr. And by the way, a lot of people talking trash about Ed and like saying, hey, like, oh, he's kind of taking advantage of the situation. No, guys. He put his own money on the line. He was not
I
given
got
his
an
700
opinion about
boxes.
this
He
too.
took a risk. He put his own money on the line. He invested in himself. He had a conviction in himself, and he took the risk, right? And he's grown his Patreon. Like 100 people signed up for his Patreon because of this.
And I'm one of those. So let me tell you a little bit about Ed. No disrespect to Ed. I love the Dragonlord theme. He has been in Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons and has a career as a lifetime artist. So Ed is about this stuff. But Ed, in his live on Patreon just last night, watched the whole thing until late at night when I have plenty I need to be doing. But he said himself, this is about money and business. And it is about the art and the cards and the story, but it is also about him taking care of his family and making money and cashing out on his career. He to paraphrase, he said those things. And it wasn't, and no disrespect to that, I respect him way more for coming out and saying that. Now, I wish I hadn't been kind of suckered in to what I thought on Arthouse's stream. I watched the video. I saved it on my PC. I have it. So it says, yeah, just sign up for my Patreon and you're going to be guaranteed a box. Well, then you sign up for the Patreon and then later I think Ed was articulating how this was going to go as this success was coming in, and I don't think he was entirely sure. So then it became, all right, well, if you're here, you get a chance at it, but you in order to get it secured, you have to pay $350 to get one of my painted cards. And I think in that tier, it goes up and up and up to like $1,800. That's a discount for anybody that's a patron. That's how you get your box, and then it's included in the package. But it sure seemed like I buy the box from Ed at $85, a little above, and I thought I was getting this art card. So I don't know. I would have much rather preferred being his patron, buying this product, and then maybe being a fan and filling my house with more art, which I already have. Now, as far as that stuff goes, I would have been motivated to get into this stuff instead of feeling like I got strong-armed. This is Meow Shrooms. I think it was somebody in Canada. They drew all these cats that are half cat, half mushroom, and up on my wall, I have the water the watermark painting, water paints. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. I'm so passionate about the sorcery content, but I have this and I supported them for like $80. I got all these cool cards and this art. I am about this, but the way this stuff is rolled out has been poorly done. By Ed, and no offense to him, I don't think he was prepared for this as well as maybe he should have been with the success of this launch. It might have taken him a little off guard with what happened with those underproduced Team Covenant things, which, by the way, I don't know if I said this earlier in the video. The reason some of this isn't so much poor taste in Team Covenant's end is when I emailed them, they told me that their subscribers, they didn't get enough for all of their subscribers. That's why it wasn't shipped to them. And it's so they knew who were the fans and the quantity, and they got far less. And then they didn't offer it exclusively to them. They didn't do a raffle. They didn't send an email like heads up to them. They just sent it out. Here it is. It's open to the public. And good luck getting it, guys. And it's like they knew. So it's not some demand that came out of nowhere. We know that the players that always buy sorcery from the most readily available retailer, Team Covenant, we don't have enough for them. So I don't think this is some huge success. And Ed Bear Jr.'s Patreon hasn't filled up either. So when boxes are selling for $400+ on eBay, and Ed's offering a custom painted card and the box for $350 plus a $50 Patreon membership plus shipping and handling a couple times in there, it still ends up being a little less than the eBay purchase, which people have bought two of. So I don't know if that means that it's really about Ed and the demand. I think it may be this kind of nasty strategic release from Eric Curiosa. So who knows? Let's see what happens. I'll let Mike finish up, and I'll give my final thoughts here.
Right? Because he is rewarding collectors, people who genuinely want his art. He's packaging it with a sketch or painted art card because he wants his art to go into the hands of art enthusiasts and art collectors. So good.
And I do believe he wants his art to go to people that are enthusiastic about art. But from my perspective, if I got my box, I can tell you what, I probably would have bought more than I did of his art just because I like this crap. And I probably would have been a long time member and art purchaser than feeling like every time I kept putting money in or giving him my time and attention and watching his live streams, I felt like the price kept increasing and getting more. It was just, it wasn't like, I don't think Ed is trying to pull some scam. I just think it was really disorganized. And it left a different taste in my mouth than, like my little cat I got. I love this thing. I always will love this thing. And look, I got a binder with cats and mushrooms. How cute is that for all the meow shrooms I got? It's adorable, and I'll be a fan of this crap for life. I didn't care that I'm spending money on something that will have no value to anybody else. There's like 5 people that supported that project. And I just think it should have been way better done, in my opinion.
Good on you, Ed Bear Jr. Very smart. You put your heart and soul into this your entire career, and in the last 2 years, promoting and marketing the hell out of this game, creating the buzz, and directly helping in the success that it was, as proven by the Team Covenant sale. So I feel like I've been loud this whole time, yelling and screaming. Hopefully you guys...
I think Ed does deserve props for creating a product that I myself am dying to get my hands on, and I'm willing to pay, $300 to $400. It's going to be over $400 in the end for a box of cardboard cards and a piece that he painted just because I want it from Ed. So there's a lot to be said about that. But as far as speculation and the way this was released, I just glass definitely 50% at best.
Turn the volume down, and on 2x speed, I'm going to sound like an absolute maniac. But there it is, guys. It is the set that took Sorcery Contested Realm to the next level when everyone doubted it.
So, what do you guys think? I've been trying to do some reaction content. I'm very passionate about the topic of sorcery. Rocky has been getting more pets than ever. He's having a great time. So let me know below what you think with how this is developing. Do you think this is going to propel sorcery into the stratosphere, into success with Gothic? Or are you like me? Will you be buying far less Gothic than you did Arthurian Legends? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.